Hello, my name is Jonathan Abraham, and I am from KTH Royal Institute of Technology. And I'm here to present the project Censoring Safety Perceptions in Järva, which is a study where we're trying to capture perceived safety of the built environment using a range of different types of data and methodologies. And we're especially interested in the temporal aspect of safety. So this project is quite a big collaboration between many different partners. We have KTH, where both me and the PI, Varneskato, is part of, but we're also part of the Sensible Stockholm Lab and the MIT Sensible City Lab. We're collaborating also with Maptioner from Finland, and as well as the city of Stockholm and local actors in the study area, which I will describe very shortly. So a bit of a background to our study. As I mentioned, this project is about perceived safety, and safety is a fundamental part of our quality of life. It affects our physical and mental health, but also how we move around and our accessibility in our city. And as such, it is a fundamental quality of the urban environment as well. So it's very important for us to better understand how people perceive environments and how we could possibly change these environments to become more safe, more attractive, and more sustainable. And in order to investigate this, we've chosen a study area in Stockholm, which is the area of Järva, which you might recognize some neighborhoods from, for example, Rinkeby and Kista and Tensta. But why are we choosing this area? Well, Järva is an area with a lot of potential. Currently, it's a lot of development when it comes to housing and transportation and new workplaces and schools. So there's a lot of change going on there, and a lot of people there will be affected. So the question of safety will become even more important to address for these people. But also historically, this place have already had challenges with perceived safety. For example, according to the 2020 Stockholm Safety Survey, compared to the Stockholm average, Järva has more people that feel unsafe during nighttime, but also more likely to avoid certain places where they live due to fear of crime. And also in a previous study we did with MIT Sensible City Lab, we asked people to classify street view images of Stockholm according to safety. And we saw that Järva was one of the areas that had the lowest score across all of Stockholm. So we need to find better ways to plan for this. And with this project, we want to make a deeper analysis into how people's safety perceptions relate to the quality of the physical and the social environment of the area. And we want to do this through two different perspectives, so to speak. And the first is looking at the locals' perspective, the residents' perspective of how they perceive Järva and where they live. Secondly, we want to see how people who might not live there but might visit or work there, or might not have been there before. And we get this outsider perspective of Järva and how they perceived it in terms of safety. And we attempt to do this by looking at the different contexts and the different settings these safety perceptions are formed, and also the different types of users, the locals and outsiders, but the residents and the workers. But also the temporal aspect, as I mentioned in the beginning, and how the time of day might affect safety perceptions, or the time of year, the seasonal variation of safety perceptions. And we attempt to do so with a combination of many different types of data and methodologies. We combine apps and we call surveys, as well as the street view imagery analysis that I mentioned before using an AI model, but also other indicators of urban security. And all this in order to create this diagnostic of the safety conditions in Järva. Yes. So taking a look at the first perspective, the intra-city perspective, where we look at how the residents perceive Järva. And we have done this by developing an app which can capture, well, near real-time safety perceptions, very detailed measures of safety perceptions of Järva. And the idea here is that the participants would take this app or their phone on a walk. And during this walk, they would take images, take photos of along the way. And for each of these images, they would answer questions related to safety and how it relates to the environment in terms of, do I feel safe here? Do I feel that this place is beautiful, ugly? Is it crowded, or is it very open? And those kind of conditions related to safety as well. And with this, we don't only get information related to safety, but we get the image of the location that they visit, as well as the geographic information in terms of where the location is, but also the patterns of mobility that they have, as well as the temporal dimension, once again, when the photo was taken, during time of day, but also the time of year it was taken. So with this, we get a very micro level, detailed measure of safety from the residents of the area. And we also want to focus on younger perspectives in this case, as to see how they perceive their city. As younger people have often, in a lot of contexts, seen as the problem of safety, or they've been considered a safety problem in many ways. So looking at the other perspective, the citywide perspective, where we see how the rest of Stockholm see Järva. We have developed, together with Maptioneer, a survey where with map-based or related questions, we can see, for example, the response would be answering where they feel safe or where they feel unsafe, but also which places they might avoid, and so on, and other like routine activities related to their life. And so we're looking at the three different groups here. We're looking at the people who live there, but also the people who might commute to Järva for work or school, or visit there for pleasure, for entertainment, and but also the ones that might not have a quite direct link to Järva. And with this, we could see if there is some kind of biases or stigmas depending on which group we're looking at here. And yes, and then the other part of the citywide perspective is looking at the AI model analysis of the street view images of Stockholm. And and what this is based on is the perceptions of a citizens panel who answered a survey, choosing between different pictures and seeing how, if they felt a certain environment was safer or more unsafe. And based on this, we trained an AI model to understand, in a sense, how the human brain perceives environments. And in this, we could generate a perceived safety score for each of these images. So we will utilize this data set as well, and we will try to perhaps generate new safety scores based on the non-residents' perceptions, to see, once again, this potential stigma that might be towards Järva. And we will also attempt to do some object identification of the features that can be found in the environment. For example, it can be the amount of trees found in an image, or if there is the proportion of roads and how that would affect the safety score. And so we could see if there are some correlations with, in some images with higher safety scores might have more of certain elements and vice versa. Yes. So the current stage and looking forward. Currently, in using, if we start with the street view AI model, where there's an ongoing analysis for preliminary results. We have identified like some distinct urban features that have some high correlation with lower safety and higher safety. So there's some are like not very significant, some are a bit more significant, but this is still preliminary analysis once again. But we're also exploring how we would relate these results to other variables, for example, the measures of like or indicators of urban design or socioeconomic factors. When it comes to the survey, the survey is still open. We're still getting responses, and we're collaborating with both local and more widespread citywide actors to get more responses. But we have sampled some of the data, and we see some interesting and detailed information on people's safety perceptions, as well as how they move around in the city. And yeah, when it comes to the app, we are planning a data collection in the coming weeks. Actually, we're trying to organize with the city, with the city district administration, as well as the schools and youth clubs in the study area. So yes, I think that was it. Thank you very much for listening.